I'm laughing already. Whew. Wow, I'm really hyper, really hyper. Why do you think you're better? How much I despise the word chortle. Am I the problem? Am I the problem? Surely I'm not the problem. I could never be the problem. Hello, book besties. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney if you are new here, and we are starting a brand new reading vlog, and we're going to be reading new releases. So my plan is to read the next 3 to 4 new releases on my radar, and I know what we are starting with because it got delivered today. Ta-da! We are starting with Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I forgot I pre-ordered this and it released yesterday, and I went to Target and they had one copy left, but the dust cover is what you put on your purses, isn't it? Dust jacket, I think is what it's called. The paper outside was ripped all down the front, as I almost ripped mine. And I was like, I can't. So I was like, I'll have to order it off of Amazon. And then it got delivered today and I was like, I pre-ordered this book. So I'm very happy. I'm on page, I stopped mid-chapter, which is very unlike me, but I had to get ready. I'm about to leave in like literally 4 minutes I'm going out with my boyfriend. We're going to a brewery with some friends, and I'm winded because I've been running around finishing my hair and getting dressed. But I literally have my purse on. I am leaving, like actively leaving. But I want to talk about this because I'm on chapter 4, in the middle of chapter 4, and it's different so far. It feels different. It feels almost Evelyn Hugo is kind of the vibe I'm getting, because it's like a memoir, like an author writing a memoir about a famous celebrity. It's giving Evelyn Hugo, and I'm here for it. Obviously, the romantic element is already very clear. We know that it's going to be the two authors that are fighting for the role to write this biography in this special piece on this famous lady, but it's not feeling very romancy yet. It's feeling Evelyn Hugo-ish, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I love it. So not a whole lot to say other than to intro the video. I am literally, I cannot catch my breath. Wow, I'm really hyper, really hyper. I drink caffeine too late in the day. I've cut out my morning coffee, but I'll allow myself like a noonish coffee, and my noonish coffee was at like a 2-ish coffee, and I'm bouncing off the walls. But I wanted to hop on and introduce this vlog, get us kickstarted. Great Big Beautiful Life is up first. I'm thinking this, probably The Love Haters by Catherine Senner, maybe the new Carly Fortune, One Golden Summer, I think it is. And what else is the beginning of May? I know the Windy City is May 20th. I know there's so many books coming out in May. I can't keep track of all of them, but we're just gonna do consecutively as they release the next few new releases, probably 3 or 4 in this vlog, like I said, and we're gonna see where it takes us. But I am so excited, and we are kicking off with Emily Henry, and she's very hit or miss for me, but my hopes are high because her last couple books since Happy Place, I've been really enjoying her books. So fingers crossed, I'm very excited, and I will keep you posted as I continue reading. Okay, yeah, he's texting me. I literally have to go right now. I will talk to you so soon. Hello, it's a beautiful day. I'm about to go sit outside on my deck and soak up some sunshine and read a little bit more of Great Big Beautiful Life. But I wanted to touch base before I did. I'm on page like 150-ish, and I'm struggling to get into this book, I must say. I'm struggling to feel like I care at all about the mystery elements. So basically the premise of this book is we have Alice and Hayden, and they are both authors that are trying to write this like tell-all piece kind of for this very famous family, and this woman that is part of like this scandalous famous family from the past. And so we're getting her story through like, sorry, Delilah's running around. I need to trim her toenails as per usual, so you're gonna hear her clicking on the tile. So we're getting like bits and pieces of her story through Alice's like conversations with her, but we're not getting the full picture. And Alice and Hayden had to sign an NDA, so they're not allowed to talk to each other about what they're learning about this woman. And by skirting the topic, it's just kind of becoming evident that they're like getting very different stories from her. So there's a mystery in her past that's like unraveling, and I just don't really care about that. Like, I just am not feeling connected to this woman, her family. We went like generations back, and I feel like that's where it lost me, is like gold mining and like really far back in this woman's history, and I just can't be bothered to care. I found myself having to read and reread chapters because like my eyes were reading, but my brain didn't care about anything, you know? So I had to like make sure I wasn't missing things, but I also just wasn't absorbing anything because I wasn't invested. But I am liking the romance. So there's kind of like the two storylines going on, and I really like one of them, but I'm really struggling to get into the other, and they're starting to overlap. So I've had a little bit of a tough time getting into it, I will say. Another thing I put in my notes reading this book is I cannot put into words how much I despise the word chortle. She chortled. Like, she laughed, she chuckled, she giggled, she snickered, anything. Snickered is kind of rough too. Chortled, it is up there on my list of ick words while reading. Oh, I have some other ones and I love you guys, so I'm gonna say them, but this is the only time I'll ever say these words. Haunches, I sat back on my haunches. Ugh, I feel like it happens a lot in cowboy romances, and the book that solidified that I hate that word was actually Caught Up in the Windy City series. It was said way too many times in that book, and that is probably the only reason that book didn't get a 5-star for me. I know, it's crazy, maybe a little immature, maybe a little petty, but like, oh, I hate it. I hate that word. And chortles or chortle, either one, is rapidly approaching that same level of hatred. Like, it is bad. It's so bad. It's not necessary. It's really not. Right? Chortle. It's a bad word, huh? But that is where I am at. That is kind of the reading update, the vibe. I'm just not really feeling it. I consider DNFing, I must say, but I think I'm gonna push through and see what comes of it. I'm invested enough in the romance piece that I feel like I have something to grab onto at least to keep me going. But it's been a rough start, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like that is typical with Emily Henry though, with me. Something about her writing, if I try to eyeball it and like read it physically, I really struggle for some reason. So I don't know what it is about her writing. We just don't mesh, but yeah, maybe I'll lean a little bit heavier on the audio, try to make some more progress today. I'm gonna go sit outside. The vibes are vibing with the sunshine being out. So we're gonna do that and make some more strides, and I will update you hopefully with a more positive update once I make a little bit more progress in this. She just said chortles again, you guys. Chortle alert. Chortle alert. Page 226, trigger warning. I chortle. What a choice. What a choice that is. Okay, my ladies and gents, update for you because I'm still working on Great Big Beautiful Life. Same day, just a little bit later. Been sitting outside and listening / reading, and we're still chortling. So just FYI, I updated you, I think, while I was sitting outside. We are indeed chortling again. So there's that, but that's fine. It's fine. I can overlook it. We're good. There was one moment where there was a quote. This is the first time in this entire book that there is a quote that I was like, oh my gosh, that's really cute. And it says, "It makes me feel weightless and jittery, like the first second of a roller coaster drop. I can't remember the last time I had a crush like this. Not one that merely aches the way I felt about Theo the first few months. That painful yet addicting feeling of wanting something that is being very intentionally withheld from you. This is the other kind, the dopamine hit of proof, evidence, facts that add up to the knowledge that maybe the person whose very presence excites you is also excited by your presence. That I think he likes me back feeling." That was a cute quote. That was a really cute quote about like reciprocal love and like reciprocal feelings and like that exciting beginning phase where you're like, oh my gosh, he likes me, I like him, kind of giddy, jittery. So that was cute. But I just feel like they don't really like each other. Like they do. I don't know. It's not even like, Obviously they're pining for the same job, so there's like a little bit of tension already just existing there. The male main character in general, I just finished chapter 24 and he's talking about like how he should drop out of the competition for writing this book because he knows that when he wins, she's going to leave him basically. And like, he's like, I don't want to hurt you, so like I just need to drop out. And like, that's bothering me that he's acting like he already won. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I don't know. I guess there are some moments where he's like, it's a lose-lose either way. Like if you win, if I win, whatever, I'm losing something. But he made a statement about like, I just kind of want to drop out because when basically she picks me to write this book for her, you're going to be upset with me and you're not going to like me anymore. And I was like, bro, you're a little cocky. Like that would have irritated me if my man said that to me. I'd be like, excuse me, like you think you've already won. Why do you think you're better? So that was just like not my favorite moment. I just don't really love him, to be totally honest. I don't love either of them. I'm not having the best of times. I hate to say it. I know Emily Henry is so loved. I just think maybe her books aren't for me. I really liked Happy Place. Towards the end, I liked Happy Place. Like I liked some of the quotes at the very end. Funny Story was fine. I just don't know that her books are like written for me. Yet I keep trying because there is like an M-Hen super fan club. I feel like the entire book world is Emily Henry obsessed, and rightfully so. Like I can tell she's a beautiful author. I can tell she's incredibly talented. It's just something with me and my reading style, my reading preference. I don't know, something just isn't jiving and I'm struggling with this one, to be totally honest. So that's where we're at. Like I said, just finished chapter 24, so we're gonna work through the rest. I think my audiobook said I had like 2-ish hours left at the pace I was listening, so I might try to finish it tonight. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm gonna do for the rest of the night, but potentially try to finish this and crank it out, and we'll see where we end up. But I will definitely let you know as I progress if I have any major updates in the meantime, but I will definitely at the very least update when I finish, of course. But that's the vibe. Hopefully it picks up soon. Okay, I am like fresh out of the shower, just washed my face. I am winding down for the night. Just finished painting actually, which is really fun. But I just finished listening to chapter 30, so I'm on page 360, and I just needed to be on the record that I am predicting a Evelyn Hugo reminiscent ending. And if this just copies like the Evelyn Hugo conclusion, I admittedly am going to be super disappointed and slightly judgmental because I feel like that is such a clear, popular story. I don't know entirely, but it's feeling very Evelyn Hugo reminiscent, which has been fine because it's different enough. Obviously, like it's not the same story we're telling, and like there's the added romance element, which is really fun. But if it goes down that path, it feels like that's the setup, and I just have to have it be on record that I am predicting that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to like make this full spoilery because that would be really disappointing if you haven't read this book. So I'm gonna not say more than that, but if you've read Evelyn Hugo, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna zip my lips now. Hayden is slightly growing on me. There was a quote in chapter 29 I really liked, and there she asked him if he thinks that they have free will. He says, I think there's so much out of our control, almost everything about how our lives go. But I think deciding that we're all just on a track, that we never really had any say over our own decisions, it feels like the kind of thing someone with a lot of regrets would need to be true. Maybe I need something different to be true. He says that we don't have to end up with regrets, that if we really care about something, we can hold on to it. There's a couple one-liners in here where I'm like, Emily Henry, you hit with that one. Like you crushed that. It's just the book as a whole, I'm just still not really feeling it. I wish almost that we had dual POV. I feel like if I got Hayden's point of view, I maybe would be feeling the romance a little bit more. I get that we only want the one point of view for like the mystery subplot, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm not super connected. So that is where we're at. I'm almost done. You can see, almost done. My audiobook says I have 45 minutes and 52 seconds left. So I'm going to continue listening to this and finish up tonight. And I will update you tonight or tomorrow with final thoughts, rating, all that jazz.
Early in the morning, I stopped by the house for a hot shower and a change of clothes. Novel balanced face down on the arm of her chair. Brought you something? I set her croissant and coffee in front of her. I figured we'd better celebrate while we have the chance. One of her eyebrows goes up.
Hello, I am back. So is Delilah. And did you finish the book? No, I did not finish the book yet, but this book is about to freaking finish me because guess who's chortling again? She sure is chortling. Yep, page 382, baby. We're so back with chortles. Why? Why? It's not necessary. It's just not necessary. You want to hear it?
I like that too, he says. Like a white noise machine turned all the way up. I chortle, and with some effort, peel myself away from... I chortle, and with some effort, peel myself away from...
I chortle, and with some effort, peel myself away from him. I'm so done. I'm done. So I just filmed an entire clip talking about this book, and I filmed it in 0.5 speed with no audio. So that was really beautiful on my end. But I just finished Small Beautiful Things. No, Great Big Beautiful Life. And the ending was good. The ending was good. I'm just not really feeling it. My Evelyn Hugo prediction was a prediction. Yep. When you read it, you will know whether my prediction was correct or not, I suppose. But yeah, I honestly have no idea what I'm going to rate it. I feel like I need to sit with it. I think like a 2.5 or a 3, somewhere in there. I'm leaning 2.5 because the beginning started strong. I was really excited when I first picked up the vlog, like the first 30 pages or so. I was like, this feels like Evelyn Hugo with a romance, and I really love that. Was super duper pumped, and then it rapidly crashed and burned, and that middle piece was just, it was so hard for me to care. I had to actively talk myself out of DNFing, which is not a good sign. And then the ending I liked. The ending I probably would give like a 3.5. The way it all concluded, I did really enjoy. But the book as a whole just like wasn't a favorite of mine. I also am leaning a little towards the 3-star range because of some of the quotes. Like there was a few one-liners that I really enjoyed and I really liked. By a few, I mean like a little handful of them, not a ton, but there were moments where I was like, oh, that quote was really good. Emily Henry is definitely very talented. This book I just think was not it for me. My shoulder feels yoked holding this camera up. Do I look buff? This muscle, whatever this is, felt really big through my shirt, but you can not see anything. I've been lifting weights if you can't tell. You guys, it's literally not even dark out. My neighbors are throwing like a rager. I can hear music playing and I'm ready for bed. I'm ready for bed. It's a Saturday night. That sums me up. I am so tired. But yeah, I read a good chunk of this book today. I cranked that out. Honestly, I had nothing on my agenda and it was just beautiful to sit outside and just read. It was wonderful. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to post my final review, my rating and everything on the screen because I just don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Because as of now, I think I just need a minute to process. But probably in the 2.5 or 3-star range, somewhere in there. My arm is getting so tired. But that's the update. Sorry, my blue light glasses are super reflective. I do apologize. What else can I yap to you about? I feel like I just want to talk to my besties, but I have nothing else to say. I'm a little sad, a little bummed, a little disappointed. I feel bad. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be really upset with me for my rating on this book, but I'm sorry. It wasn't it for me. Was not a winner for me. But that's okay. You win some, you lose some. Says nothing about Emily Henry. I think it was just wasn't a book that was jiving with me personally. I've seen so many incredible reviews on this book. Just wasn't for me. And that's totally fine. The Love Haters will probably be next on the TBR, depending on when that gets delivered. I'm trying to think release dates in my brain. I just can't keep them all straight. But that'll probably be the next book that I get my hands on. So I'm super excited about. Catherine Center, love her writing. So very excited about that. I will update you when we pick up the next book, whenever it shows up on my doorstep, whenever my pre-order gets here. I feel like I can't talk. There's like something in my throat. That's the vibe. I'm literally in bed with my Build-A-Bear, ready to sleep. And the sun is not even fully down on a Saturday night. Live, laugh, love. This is your 20s. This is living in your prime. We'll say 20s are the best decade of your life, and I'm going to bed before 9 o'clock. It's 8:30. Slay. Okay, that is all. That's the update. Sorry for being a negative Nancy, Debbie Downer. I just didn't love that one, but that's okay. Hello, my besties. It is only a couple days later, and I had a moment where I was like, Delaney, you are not thinking this through. I was gonna wait for The Love Haters or like One Golden Summer to come out in a couple of weeks. I can read a book with you right now, and in fact, I already started it. Fearless is also a new release. I meant to read it in April. I didn't read it because it was longer than I anticipated and I was intimidated by it, but totally a new release. Why don't I just vlog this with you guys? So I started this. I am on I'm quite a bit in, honestly. Page 170. So we are kind of cruising, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I love this fantasy series because I can actually understand it. It feels, I'm gonna scoot down, hold on. It feels a little more like low stakes fantasy, almost like realistic with just like sprinkles of fantasy elements. Which I really, really like because I get confused with complex fantasy. So I'm really enjoying the storyline. I love Kai and Peyton's romance. This book has a little bit of a love triangle. I went into this like half blind. I did not remember at all what happened in, what was it, Reckless? I think is what it was called. I do not remember anything except the very, very end, the cliffhanger that left us all wanting book 3. Like that's the only thing I remembered from that book. And I was like, I could read recaps, I could try to find a summary, but I'm just gonna do it, like full send. And I'm understanding, like I feel like it's coming back to me. So if you were at all nervous to jump into the next book in the series because you weren't fully remembering what happened, you're good. I think we're gonna be okay. Which was a pleasant surprise for me because I was nervous about that. But I am enjoying it. The only thing I'll say is it's feeling a little bit like Powerless 2.0. Like we are entering a world and we are entering circumstances that are basically copy and paste exactly what we read in Powerless in many ways, which I enjoy reading, but it's feeling almost repetitive, at least as of now. But there's like the added romance, like the little love triangle, a much more solidified romance. I just adore Kai. I love the way he speaks about her. I love the way he speaks to her. I'm just gonna start reading this with you guys. I'm glad I like had the moment of like, oh my gosh, this is a new release, I can read with you. So I'm excited about that. I need to get myself together. I have some meetings I have to do and I am like not ready for that physically to appear professional in any way, shape, or form. So I need to get my face and my hair, mainly. I fell asleep with wet hair. You don't even want to see. Arf. Underside is curly. The top is like weirdly flat, curly, kinky, weird. It's a whole thing. So I need to go get ready rather rapidly and then I will update you while I read more of this. But yeah, that's the next book. And then we can take on The Love Haters or whatever shows up on my doorstep next. Hello, my loves. We are back and I have been zooming through some more of Reckless. I'm on chapter 37, page 320. And dare I say, I really like Kit. I never thought I would like Kit in the previous books. I really like him. I really, really do. The fantasy elements are feeling a little, again, still just kind of like redundant a little bit. It's feeling a little bit repetitive. Bad. I'm just not like in it. You know what I mean? I'm just not like super duper invested in anything but the romance. And I normally am not a love triangle type of gal, but it's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. And I really like Kit and Kai's brotherhood. Like, I don't know. Kit is deeply complex and I feel like we didn't really see much of his, like a ton of his complexity in the previous books. He was kind of just villainized and like rightfully so in many ways. Like he did some not great things, but I just like made a snap judgment and I was just like, I hate Kit, but I didn't really look at him as a whole character and I actually really like him. So that is a shock to me, but right now it's feeling very like 3.5 star-ish. That's the best way I can put into words, like the feeling that I'm having right now. Not bad at all, but not like, oh my gosh, I'm eating this up, you know? However, funny timing, my book of the month box got delivered today. Yup. Yup. So I really want to read this. I honestly might start it while still in the middle of Fearless. I feel like they're different enough that I could like keep them straight. It's just vlogging that gets a little messy because then I'm like, I have an update on what I read and it's this book and it's this book, and it just gets kind of like confusing. I don't want to be confusing for you guys, so I might try to just fly through the rest of this. I'm out about like probably 50%-ish. So I could try to finish this in the next day or two and then pick up the Love Haters, but I'm really excited for this. I'm like really excited to get to it. So I will see how patient I can be. This is like just over 300 pages, so it shouldn't be too long of a read. I've heard mixed things on this. A lot of people said the female main character struggles a lot with like eating and body image, and I've like been through that. Like I've had an eating disorder in my past, and body image and all the things like is a huge part of who I am today. So I'm like, I'm kind of intrigued because I feel like that would make her relatable, but I've seen a lot of people say that it feels like her only personality trait, which I don't love. I feel like that is doing the main character a disservice in a way. Like I love when it's talked about, but when it's made someone's entire identity, I feel like it almost has the reverse effect, and it's not like empowering to talk about your struggles. It's more like, I don't want to say shameful, but like stigmatizing, I guess, if you make it like your full identity of like a character. So I don't know. That's really like the only review I've seen of this so far, is people saying that was too excessive in this book. But I have no idea. I really don't even know what it's about. A romance, that's all I know. Coast Guard rescue swimmer. Feels very cheesy, very fluffy. I have no idea. We might be jumping into this shortly, but I wanted to show you that it's here. And the timing of that was really funny because I was like, I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm just going to start Fearless, and then literally showed up on my doorstep. So that was good timing. I'm excited to get into that. And yeah, that's really the update. I'm liking Kit more than I ever expected, and I'm going to continue listening / reading this and make some more progress. Okay, you guys, I'm on chapter 58. I am almost done with Fearless, and I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I feel like we are just on repeat. I feel like Kai and Peyton are having the same conversations over and over. I feel like, yes, there was some big shocking reveal, but also like, I don't really care. I'm just feeling checked out. I'm feeling not invested. I don't know what, her writing is really pretty, but I feel like this book was, it almost feels like it was thrown together last minute. And that sounds really, really terrible because I know there's so much that goes into a book, and I hate to ever like say anything that seems like I'm discrediting authors, because not at all my intention, but the book feels like it wasn't planned. Like it feels like the previous books weren't written with this ending in mind. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it was like scrambling for an ending, and by doing so it feels like we're just kind of going in circles, and I'm just feeling bored, which is such a bummer. I was hoping for a win coming off of Emily Henry's book, and it's just not feeling that way. So I'm gonna finish. I'm almost there, like super duper close. Just over 100 pages left-ish. So hopefully tonight or tomorrow I'll be able to finish, and then we can move on. But as of now, I'm feeling bored. I hope the ending is going to be a nice, pleasant surprise, but we shall see where the book takes us. But I needed to update you because I've made a relatively significant amount of progress. Like I feel like I've read a significant amount. So I just wanted to touch base. Nothing earth-shattering to say. I still don't despise Kit, which was a nice turnaround in this book. I still really do love their romance. Like I love both of them, and I love them together. It's just feeling a little bit like, that's the worst thing in the world, but beating a dead horse a little bit. Like we're just really hounding in the same thing over and over and over again. So that's where I'm at currently, but I'm going to finish that up and then give my final rating and review and everything. But like I said, just wanted to check in and touch base since I have read a pretty significant amount. That's a hefty book. It's a big book. So we are slowly but surely getting through it, and yeah, that's where we're at. So I will talk to you when I finish, which is very exciting. I feel like that book is such an accomplishment because it is so hefty, but I will talk to you when I have my final thoughts on Fearless. My lawn guy literally just got here as I turned my camera on, and now Delilah's gonna bark. Come here, hun. My lovey, come here. Delilah, you're such a good girl, but it's okay. Okay, we're gonna try to talk around her barking. Hopefully, since she's in the other room, it's not terrible. Delilah, but I need to talk to you because I did indeed finish Fearless, and it was good. I feel like the ending, I don't know, I feel like this book could have been shorter. I think I just watched, whose vlog was it? I think it was Destiny Sidwell, maybe her wrap up. I think it was her. And she was saying that she feels like the second and third book in the series could have been combined into one book. And I definitely see what she's saying. Like, I really agree with that, I think. Where, what was it, Reckless? I feel like that could have been like the first half of a book, and then this could have been condensed into the second half of a book, and it could have been like a duology. I just feel like it was a little bit, I think I said this last time, like we're just going in circles, lots of roundabout, just like a little bit repetitive. I did like the trial aspect. I do really like trials and like kind of like the Hunger Games vibes in a fantasy book. So that was like fun to read about. Again, kind of repetitive. It felt like I was reading Powerless 2.0 a little bit, but I did enjoy it. Like, I was invested in that. And like I said, I love Kai and Peyton's romance. Kai got a little bit kind of insufferable, honestly. His like mopey, woe is me. I just felt like he was saying the same thing every time, and we were like, dude, like, your circumstances suck, like, no way around it. But like, how many times can we talk about the same thing over and over? I just feel like his point of view in particular felt very repetitive, so that was kind of a bummer. The ending was plot twisty. I liked that the point of view that we got in the very, very, very last chapter of this book. There's the epilogue and the last point of view that we get. I liked that. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to potentially spoil anything, but yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 3-star. It feels like just a little bit too long, a little bit boring, a little bit repetitive, but there were elements that I really liked. I think that she does a really beautiful job of writing romance quotes in particular. Like, some of the things that Kai says is just like, it melts my heart. So yeah, there are like a lot of aspects that I really liked, and then a lot that I just didn't really enjoy. So really middle of the road, kind of a 3-star rating here. And that's kind of my thoughts on that. I feel kind of indifferent. I feel like indifferent is a good word for how I feel about this. But the first book was really great in the series. The rest, not my favorite. Yeah, Powerless I really, really, really enjoyed. And it's rare for me to like be invested in a fantasy series. So it was a nice change of pace to have a fantasy series that I cared about and characters that I cared about in a fantasy series. Books 2 and 3 just fell kind of flat. The novella, honestly, might be my favorite. I think Powerless and Powerful, really great. I loved the novella, but book 2 and 3 just like weren't my favorite. But that's okay. Win some, lose some. We are moving on to the next, and yeah, I will update you once I know where we're headed next. Hello, I'm laughing already. Whew. Hello, my queens, my loves, my book besties, my favorite humans on the entire planet. I started the love haters. I literally am already laughing. The word, I literally said it in the beginning of this video when I was reading Great Big Beautiful Life. I was like, I have 2 ick words. One has become chortle, unfortunately, I do have to say it. And the other, I was like, you're only gonna hear me say it once, and it's haunch, or like haunches. But this is the only time I'll ever say these words. Haunches. I sat back on my haunches. This book, I am not exaggerating when I say it was said probably over 10 times in one chapter. One chapter. The first time I read it, I was like, there's no freaking way. Like, there's no way. And then she kept saying it, and over and over and over. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds of me saying that literally 2 books ago, that was one of my least favorite words ever? And then it is like almost a subplot. Like, she's talking about the word itself and how it's such a weird word. And like, is that even a human body part? Like, she knows horses have them, but is it even a human body part? And she just says it over and over and over. I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, there's no way this is real life. Like, why? I feel personally victimized by Emily Henry and Catherine Center. Why are you guys doing this to me? Liz Tomford does it to me with the H word. Elsie Silver does it to me a little bit with the H word. And now Catherine Center. Like, I can trust nobody in this life. I was, you had to laugh. Like, you'd have to laugh in that moment. I was like, that is absolutely appalling. And like, what are the odds? And of course that's happening to me. I have never seen that word written so many times in such a short span. Appalling and just hilarious simultaneously. So I had to update on that. But I did start this. So we have the main plot of this is our female main character is a documentary filmmaker basically, and she films, shoot, that's not exactly what she's called, but she like films, maybe it is. She films like promo videos basically for companies, and her job is like on the chopping block. Her boss is going around making major cuts, and someone slightly above her, one of the employees at her work that is like just slightly above her in status, proposes that she takes on this documentary film for Coast Guard rescue swimmers and sends her away, convinces her, she's like, I don't know how to swim, this is like super out of my wheelhouse, I don't know anything about the military, I'm super uncomfortable, and convinces her because he's like, save your job, girlfriend, like this is the last effort and like I'm trying to help you out. So she's like, okay, I really need to save my job. So she takes on the job and goes, and that's where she meets Hutch, our male main character. He is a rescue swimmer, and he is described to her as being a love hater. So he's described as being very frowny, guarded, kind of just like melancholy, like just kind of a down, not mean, but just reserved, I think. And so she goes and she ends up meeting him. They have a very awkward first encounter, which is where the H word comes up 14 trillion times in one chapter. Something happens to her haunch. Yeah, so that happens. One thing I will say is, I think I mentioned this earlier where I had seen reviews about like the body image and the eating stuff being very prominent, and it is very, very prominent. And I think I'm really torn as someone who has gone through her own eating disorder recovery, and also like now I'm an eating disorder recovery coach. It's like a huge bulk of my job. That's one of my jobs. I work a couple of different jobs, but that is like my main career. And so I'm very torn. There are some things in this book that were written that I absolutely disagree with. I think it was irresponsible to put them in down to a day of eating with calorie counts at incredibly like alarmingly dangerously low numbers. And I think just knowing eating disorders as unfortunately as well as I do, they are inherently competitive disorders. And like, if I were in a bad headspace reading this book and I didn't know that was coming, like I would have been like, challenge accepted. Like that is my new meal plan. And that I didn't like that was included at all. I did not like that. However, I'm torn because some of the things this character says is like very relatable, and a lot of things, she has a lot of anxiety around being in a bathing suit, and she's talking to her cousin about it, and her cousin's like, you realize how irrational it is to have a literal fear of bathing suits. Like, it's a bathing suit, and like you don't know that fear unless you have it. And like I have had, oversharing here, I have had full meltdowns over bathing suits, over like the most random things that to someone without an eating disorder or without that struggle or a history of knowing that struggle, it would be like, you're like crazy. Like this, it makes no logical sense. Why are you afraid of this? But it's a thing. And so there's a part of me that's like, I love that this is being talked about. There's a lot of talk about like societal pressures on women and how anxious she feels to like have her body be seen by anybody, but especially this man, and how the bathing suit brings up a lot of anxiety and how it really is crippling in a lot of ways. So I'm like, yes, like very relatable. I'm glad we're talking about this. I don't want to like normalize it, but I think destigmatize is a good way to put it. So there's a little part of me that's like, that's awesome. And then there's a part of me that's like, some things being said are just very irresponsible. Like there's a big emphasis on a thigh gap and getting abs and a certain calorie number, where it literally says the calorie number with a day of eating that she deems as too high. And it's like a absolutely appalling underestimate of like what you should be eating in a day. And that was like heartbreaking to me, because I know, just knowing how prominent eating disorders are, I know there's going to be women that read this book, or men, and see that, and it's going to trigger something, like inevitably, just the nature of eating disorders. And I don't think Catherine Center is to blame. Like I don't think it's malicious, but it felt irresponsible. So I will say that. I don't know, it's feeling very quick. I'm flying through it. I'm already on page 128, and there's like just under 300 pages. So that was just one sitting of me reading last night. Very easy read. It's fun so far. I do feel like there's a little bit of an overemphasis of like making her body image her identity, kind of like what I was afraid of. But again, it's realistic because when that's your daily struggle, it does kind of become a huge part of who you are. So I'm really torn ethically and morally with like, if I like how much it's being talked about, because like it is relatable and it's something that you don't understand unless you're in that headspace. So I think creating a main character that is in that headspace can help people that haven't experienced that have some more empathy. And also, I don't want her to be like diminished to that being her identity. You know what I mean? So that is kind of my thoughts so far. And yeah, I do really like our male main character. I like him a lot. He seems like a very safe human. He kind of reminds me of my boyfriend in a lot of ways, where he's just kind of like steady, if that makes sense, which is really grounding for someone, where I kind of relate to the female main character a little bit. She's like anxious and kind of out there and buzzy, kind of like that buzzy energy where you're like not frantic, but just like need some grounding every once in a while. And like being around someone like that can kind of just like regulate your nervous system a little bit. And you're like, ah, okay, like everything is not that deep. I can take a breath. So I do really love him. And yeah, that's my impression so far. It's fun. It's fast. There are some things I really just don't like and some things that I think are enjoyable. So that's the update. I am just under halfway through, so I'm going to keep reading some of this. I'm going to a baseball game tonight, so probably won't be reading a ton more of that, but I will update you when I do. I just had to tell you about the H-A-U-N-C-H word that was said literally over a dozen times. Oof, the timing of that was just like incredible. I hope after, I shouldn't wish this on you because it's really evil, because it's said an alarming amount of times in romance books. But my hope is that now every time you read that word, you're going to have an awareness about it. I have a group chat with two of my really close friends. We met through social media and like Patreon and everything, and now we're really close. And we all have our own ick words. And so now I'm like super aware of when her words come up, either of them. And one of their words, I'm sorry if you girls are watching this, but nostril, that was also said in this book, and I like thought of her. So like now that you have the awareness of my ick words, I feel like it's gonna have the same repercussions, I guess, the same effect on you guys. You're gonna have like a hyper awareness to it now. It's like when you start looking for red cars, you see how many red cars are on the road. That's how it's gonna feel now when you read the H word. And hopefully you think of me. You're welcome for that. So that's the update. That is where I'm at. And yeah, we're gonna keep cruising through that and then maybe end this vlog and start another one for the upcoming new releases later in the month. I don't really know. We have One Golden Summer, we have the new Annabelle Monaghan, It's a Love Story, we have the new Windy City, which I'm so excited for. So maybe I'll do like 3 and 3 and kind of divide this a little more. Haven't totally decided, but we are just gonna see where the rest of this goes, and I will update you when I read more. Okay, I think I got some sun today because I'm still pretty pasty, but I'm turning red. That's how you know. I don't get tan, I just get slightly more flushed looking. But I sat outside and read pretty much all day today, and I have an update on the Love Haters. I actually finished this one last night, and we have to talk about it. First of all, my H word was said again, I think multiple times in the end of this book. So that was an added little bonus for me. I'm just gonna tell you, I gave this a 2.5 star. I feel like I miss Catherine Center's women's fiction. I feel like her rom-coms are just not totally my favorite. The Rom-Commers was cute. Bodyguard was cute. Hello Stranger I didn't love. The female main characters I feel like are getting progressively more and more like quirky, and not in a way that I feel like is like endearing humanity, just quirkiness. I feel like it's almost trying so hard to be quirky that I'm like, ooh, I just don't, like, I'm kind of turned off because you're kind of, I don't know, it feels like slapstick humor. Do you know what I mean? Like when something's so outrageous that it's like it's trying too hard almost. That's how it feels. That's also just kind of how the general plot of this book seemed, which is really unfortunate because I loved our male main character for like, I would say 75-80% of this book. I really loved him as a character. The miscommunication and the like blatant knowing of miscommunication, especially on her part, turned me off of them as a couple, honestly. But him, just like the man he is, I really, really liked our male main character. So I feel like the plot and just some of the elements did him a disservice because I feel like he had so much potential. And I don't know, just like the plot kept getting more and more and more outrageous. You know those movies that you watch and you're like, this is just so unrealistic that like it's not even funny anymore. It doesn't feel like I'm engaged anymore. Like it's so outlandish that you're like, this is just not even fun to watch because this is not at all real life. That's how this felt. And like there was a few things and I was like, fine, I'll let it go. And then it just kept happening and happening and happening and happening. And it felt like she hit the last like 15% of this book and she's like, I'm just gonna full send it and make this as unrealistic and chaotic and like plot twisty as I possibly can. And maybe some people like that. Maybe that was a fun ending for some people. For me, it really just turned me off of it. I will say there was a moment at the end in relation to like the body image discussion that had a lot of potential. I didn't love all of it, but like it had pieces where I was like, that was really sweet. I liked kind of the full circle moment. But I think everything I'm describing here mixed with how I feel eating disorders were very, very irresponsibly written about, not my favorite thing. So yeah, I'm sad to say that because I really love Catherine Center as a human, as an author. Like I always hype up her books. Like if you follow me, you know I talk about like my core 3 books by her that I really, really love. This one just wasn't it for me. So I'm wondering if like, if I reread those, have her characters always been like this and I am just a different reader now? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's a me thing. I have no idea. But dang, back to back with like the Emily Henry and this one, just falling flat with authors that I had like somewhat high expectations for too. So am I the problem? Am I the problem? Surely I'm not the problem. I could never be the problem. But that's the update. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to continue this vlog and wait for another book to come out. There's not a new release until Tuesday. It's Thursday. I'm going to leave that TBD. If this is the ending, no, I'll at least come on and say goodbye if I'm going to end the vlog. But TBD if we include One Golden Summer or if we wait and start a fresh vlog of new releases. I kind of like to keep my vlogs at 3 books. I feel like that's a good amount of vlogging for me and for you watching, but I don't know. I haven't fully decided, so I will let you know. This will not be the last time you see me. I'll either be picking up another book or just signing off and saying goodbye, but I had to let you know about the final review for the Love Haters. I unfortunately was a love hater. Not a hater, kind of a hater. I'm disappointed with how this vlog has gone down. Oh, that's okay. You win some, you lose some. I'm gonna go shower because like I said, I've been in the sun all day and I just got back from a walk with that little one. So I need to go shower and get ready for bed, which I'm very excited for bed. I'm tired, but I digress. I will see you soon with some sort of update. I have no idea. Okay, you guys, I'm just popping on to close off the video because I decided that the next round of new releases we're going to do our own separate vlog because I just want to vlog too many of them and this vlog would have been like hours long. So we're just going to divide it in 2 and I'm going to close this one out. So we had 3 very mediocre reads and that's okay. That is okay. I'm a little bit nervous now for this next round of new releases because these were not super exciting. They didn't necessarily live up to my hopes and my expectations, but I am very excited for the new Windy City book comes out. The new Carly Fortune I think will be good. What else? Annabelle Monaghan, Ashley Poston. There's like a lot of new releases from authors I really love. So I'm going to remain optimistic and to be continued. So we'll be reading more new releases in upcoming vlogs. So make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss future vlogs, seeing those when they come out. And that is all I have for you today. So follow me on all the things. I'm very active on Instagram and TikTok. Those are always linked down below. You can also join my book club. It is just $1 to join and read with us. And make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss future videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, book besties.